Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
I am now in season 3, starting from scratch.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So you
And
finished season 2.
yeah, and
That
that
fucking
was
ending of season 2 was fucking great.
yeah, but that was exactly what I needed, and there was a ton of things in that show that completely caught me off guard, especially for being sick. One of them specifically was when they were on a planet that was pretty much Earth, but had like the up-down votes for a pure democracy system.
Oh no.
And Captain Ed had to say, quote, "I will personally order him to not hump anything again." I spit take all over my TV
That's
because
great.
I was not expecting that to come out of his mouth, and that was just the funniest thing to me in that moment. Followed by 2 episodes later, they're talking about like a gravitational rip in space. And the pilot's talking about, it's like, oh yeah, in Academy, we used to call those glory holes. And the captain's like, no one called them that except for you. And then their science officer's like, all right, entering the glory hole. And the captain's like, don't call it that.
God. I just signed into my tracked.tv account to see where I left off on Orville, and I was not tracking my stuff on Tracked before then, so I will have to start season 2 back over.
Did you guys both? I can't remember if it's season 1 or 2, but the episode with the zodiac signs is fucking.
I don't think I've
dope as
seen
hell.
that one.
Yeah, that one was.
It's a real fucking shocker of an episode.
And then they dupe everybody on it, and they're like, "Oh, what about the moral ambiguity of this?" And everyone's like, "Did we get our people back? Who cares?"
Yeah, I gotta catch up on that.
That's the last 2 episodes of season 2. I love because Boston, you'll forget by the time you watch it, so I don't care. Because the girl from the first season comes back. The last episode
nice.
of the
for like
season.
A very brief.
Hi, Favor.
Which that was a nice touch. I liked that.
So
I agree with you. I wish she would come back. But whatever.
Also,
yeah, I'm on,
again,
what is it? Episode 5 of New Horizons is where I'm at right now.
Okay, I think I might be one behind at the moment with this one, because I've actually been watching it like as it airs, essentially, like usually the day after.
Oh, I didn't know it was still okay. Yeah, they're up to episode 8 right now. That just came out. I thought New Horizons was already wrapped up and they were working on whatever was coming after that. But okay, cool.
Still going.
Apparently, I'm almost on track.
Oh, nice.
Season 2's got some really fucking great episodes. Twice in a Lifetime is a banger. A Tale of Two Topers is an incredible episode that deals with current reality
of transgender and
yeah, and it tickles me because it came out literally before it was filmed, before that whole decision was made about Roe versus Wade and everything else. And it's like, okay, so they're just hitting the heavy hitters as they have been through all 3 seasons. Like, how is it that this show is so effective with its like breaking down of social constructs? And I'm not going to say it never states what it believes, but it kind of doesn't. Like, it does paint, for example, in season 1, the whole Topa situation when it starts, it paints the Mocklins as asshole idiots because of what their society is. But they need them because of everything that's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Which really
causes another issue the next time the big Mocklin thing happens. Yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, a lot of fun crap.
All right, you guys ready to start?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Howdy.
And the Nymph.
Hello.
Patreon.com/E1M1.
Those ones are numbers, folks.
Do you like energy drinks? If you do, we have a great episode of The Outcast for you this week. We talk about a whole bunch of energy drink related adventures, and we talk about a couple energy drinks too. The Outcast is our weekly uncensored outtakes with all the stuff we talk about before we go live. And it also includes like the stuff before the show and then the breaks in between and all that stuff. And titles, of course, because that's usually pretty spicy. You also get early access to We Roguelike It, where Moon and I are playing just so many roguelikes. You get it like the same week we record it. And you get 2-month early access to Critical Misses, show where Moon and I are catching up on all the media hits we've missed. Music, movies, mostly movies right now, but we did a music season here before. You can check all of that out. Patreon.com/E1M1.
Don't want to know.
You can also do Patreon.
Just say it. Get it out of your system.
Yeah. Just do Patreon.tvgp.tv. There you go. Saved it. Covered. Moon, what have you been playing this past week? Help me.
Okay, so I played first and foremost Far Changing Tides, which is our Game Club game, 1 week delayed this month for reasons.
Yeah, it'll be out alongside this one. Thank you for reminding me.
Oh, not a problem at all.
Also, thank you
I
for
always do so just to be safe.
Also, thank you for getting the title right, because none of us could when we recorded it yesterday.
I only got it right because I pulled up my achievement list and wrote it down from that.
There you go.
And just as a future heads up as well, next month's Game Club, I believe, will also be delayed by 1 week too.
Correct. So you'll have a whole bunch of time to play our next game, which is Weird West. It's available on Game Pass on console.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. So Weird West is going to be our next game. It'll have, I think, like 5 weeks to play it this time because of how scheduling works out. So we'll be recording that on the 27th. Of
so
August.
jump on in, get involved in the conversation, etc., discord.gg/tvgp, whatever it is. Don't ask me, dude, I don't know.
The links are ones.
That's right.
Yes. Well, it's all ones and zeros in here, boss.
That's right.
Okay, so what did I play? So we're going to start out with 2020 Olympic Games. I wrote 2022 Olympic Games in my list here because that's how messed up my head is. The Tokyo Olympics, the Games 2020, which came out in 2021 because the Olympics were delayed by a year, whatever. I played that this week, literally just to wrap up a couple of achievements. I jumped in with a friend of the show, Rob. We sat down, had some fun. We did the rest of the online achievements. It seems to have phased its way out of our rotation for playing with everything,
as things naturally do.
Yeah, as they do. And next thing you know, we'll all be playing Deep Rock Galactic again because that's phased its way back in. It's like, it's the whole, I wish I knew more about astrology because I would totally be throwing out references to waxing and waning moons and stuff like that. But
Mercury being in retrograde, because it always
there we go. Thank you.
Yeah,
that's the thing I was thinking of.
Mercury, Gatorade, all that stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
So the Olympics is in retrograde, and we'll see what pops up next.
Sorry, that one got me.
It's fine, because it turns out that the new moon rising is actually an old moon rising, which is, I need to make sure I get this right. Dead by Daylight, because I'm playing a lot of games with D's in right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not the good kind of D though. D the letter, not D the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Dead by Daylight. It turns out that's still a banger of a game. Okay.
Oh no.
Did you get the DLC characters?
I may or may not have spent $49 on getting the Ultimate Edition so I can get all of the DLC.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Yes. Oh boy. So, let's just do a little bit of a flashback to Dead by Daylight. I've been playing a different D game this week. I'm slow for a reason.
You put the sepia filter up. If I knew how to do that on the stream, I would.
Yes. Hello, Louise. Okay. So in Dead by Daylight, you the way the game used to work, keyword here is used to work, is you could basically get skills for other characters character-specific skills to unlock for other people. But what you'd have to do is you'd have to level up that character till you find the shareable version of that skill in their blood web, and then find that shareable skill in the person you wanted's blood web so you could unlock it for that character.
So sphere grids, gotcha.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now you're talking my language.
However, they just did a huge patch to the game, and all that progression has changed now.
Oh no, Kamaria doesn't have Lancet anymore. Oh no.
No, literally nobody had. I had the skill. I hate you guys so much.
Sorry, I
I
knew someone would laugh at that because it's like the most useless skill in Final Fantasy X.
The hilarious thing is, if I knew how to spell any of that, I would be writing it down for title, but I don't know how to spell it. So, there's a guy who's got a special ability, which is if you take someone off the hook, then you can get yourself off the hook. But if you as long as you're within the range. And it's a really useful skill, especially for an achievement which is related to get yourself off the hook 10 times, which has a normal percentage rate of 2%. So a guaranteed is really helpful. I got that character to level 46 and worked my way through all of his stuff to get that and started unlocking it on my quote-unquote mains, because that's what I do. Now, his skill is not available for anyone else.
Okay.
Because they changed the way the progression works.
Okay.
Now, the way the game works is when you prestige a character,
ooh la la,
which you could do previously, you could get them up to prestige 3. When you get them to prestige rank 1, all of their skills at level 1 become available for every other person. I don't even think you need to unlock them in the blood web anymore. They're just available.
Okay. All right.
Then when you prestige them a second time, then their level 2 version of those skills become available for everybody else to use.
Okay.
And then when you prestige them the third time, it unlocks the third level version.
Pluses and minuses.
Yeah, I was saying, once you have your 5-star level 500 Admiral, which you'll be good to go.
Yeah.
David, thank you very much. His name is David.
Whatever.
It's important to me that his name is David. I don't know why, but it is. But so the downside to this now is I had Nia Carlson's fast crouch walk unlocked for everybody. I had the unhook yourself from the hook thing unlocked for everybody. Now I don't anymore. Now I have to go and redo all of this crap. However, when you prestige, you don't lose abilities you've unlocked. You don't lose the items you've got. You don't lose the stuff
it's just
you just
additive?
spent out. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
So now I'm like, well, crap, I've got to go through it again with every single survivor I have to unlock all that stuff for everybody.
Yeah.
And David, because I did have him to prestige level 3 before the new system, may or may not have a flashy red background behind his picture because I played him so much. I'm just saying.
Right.
So the funny thing is clearly the crew I play with, we all played with one particular hero or survivor because we've all got one character with that red background and nobody else has got it. And it's like, that's the guy I played as most.
Yeah.
So yeah, they changed Dead by Daylight, and now I have to spend another ridiculous amount of hours playing the game. In my defense, the game is on Game Pass, and yes, I paid $49 to buy the game and 80% of the DLC.
After 1,500 hours of the game.
219 hours I have put into this game.
Right.
2 stars.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Do not recommend
them
$50.
Yep. Like, take it. Like, just take it and continue to develop the game. Now I just need to buy all the licensed stuff. So Pinhead, Nemesis, the other licensed one,
Carl
Pyramid
Head.
Yeah. But we did get to play the Resident Evil 2 map. because maps are
Ooh.
not tied to killers and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So I sacrificed my rookie cop Leon S. Kennedy badge to the ether, which I'm not kidding. You literally can sacrifice a badge and choose to spawn on that level. Yo, it's just the police department.
That's great.
Oh, nice.
That's a great
Like
map.
straight out of the game. Like it's that lobby and a whole bunch of side rooms. It's got the locker room. It's got the offices up top.
Yeah.
And like when we spawned, we all spawned on that balcony where Nemesis punches his way through the wall. It's like, holy crap! It's just the map.
They did.
It's literally just the map. That's amazing.
That's really cool.
It's so cool. Like,
Yeah.
mad props, because as soon as I got in there, I was like, okay, I'm in the locker room, and then everybody knows what you're talking about because everybody's played Resident Evil 2 except for one of us.
Excuse
so
me, I have played a lot of Resident Evil 2, sir.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the group I was playing with, you smarty pants.
Oh, I was gonna say, because I played Resident Evil 2 as well. So
Yeah. 1 and 2 I played a lot of.
We all have played Resident Evil. We, the group I was playing with, had not.
the other Wii. I see.
yeah.
Yes.
The Wii U.
The dying Wii, not the royal Wii. This is the royal Wii.
Right.
Because, I'm English.
Right.
But Dead by Daylight's really good. Maybe I should not play it anymore.
Or maybe you should keep playing it because you like it. And it's fun.
Maybe I should just play nothing other than that, because now I have to get every character to prestige level 3. I'm just saying.
We just gotta welcome back to the David cast. What's up? Episode 2.
Nia Carlson is not going to level up her ability by herself. She needs my assistance to do so.
Put a rubber band on the joystick.
Exactly. I may or may not have 12 season passes worth of challenges to do, which I can select at will which one I want to focus on. Thank you very much, for doing that option, because it's great.
Bungie.
Yes, Bungie, please,
please,
why?
Bungie.
It's great because it's cool. I got a new dangly charm. I got a new mustache for Keith, whoever the hell that is. I don't care, but Keith has a mustache now, apparently. I don't know, dude. It's great. It's good because the best thing about the season passes for Dead by Daylight, I keep wanting to say the other one.
Dying Light?
Yes, that one. The best thing about them is it has a killer and a survivor track. So you can do both options on it. So I'm working my way through the survivor track of Tome 2, by the way. Tomes, that's what the season passes are called.
Okay.
Tomes.
Nice.
And when you work your way through it, it unlocks audio logs and backstory and content for the lore and all that kind of stuff. And each one is focused on a specific survivor. So it's play as this survivor, play as that survivor. And then the killers do the same thing, where it's kill 5 people as the butcher, trap 10 people, do this, do that. It's a really good way of doing it. And the fact that I can do whatever I want in it is great.
Yeah.
Dead by Daylight's great. You should all play Dead by Daylight. Oh god. Now, despite going to be talking about creepy games like Dying Light, Dead by Daylight, the game that made me go ugh this week is Race with Ryan.
Oh no.
So the less said about this, the better.
Okay.
I feel like if you already know about YouTube's Ryan, you know what you're in for.
Yeah, it's a kart racing game designed and made for kids with acceptable controls, horrendous music, a horn button in a game for kids. Who is the idiot who thought that was a good idea? The vehicles have different horns.
Oh no. It's
There's
Mario
a garbage
Kart all
truck.
over again. Wahoo! Wahoo! Wahoo!
Exactly. There is a garbage truck that has an obnoxious horn. I'm just saying.
God.
It is perfectly fine. On the hardest difficulty, I was smoking those bots like you wouldn't believe.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Crushing those kids.
Because...
These kids are nothing. Give me that
Cool.
online.
I think it has.
Oh
I
no.
think it has online. I'm not
It
going to touch it because I don't
shouldn't.
want to.
I don't know how many achievements are tied to the online.
Yeah.
None, thank God. None. There is
honk your horn 100 times in an online race.
Worst achievements was things like you get 0 gamer score for killing your teammate 5 times.
Right.
Why would you put that achievement in there?
Right.
It's
Why
ridiculous.
would you do either one of those things?
But it feels, as all YouTube stars who are children, feels like exploitative as hell,
Yep.
gross, and terrible.
Yep.
I will continue to play the game because I got it on Game Pass, so therefore I didn't pay anything for it. And also I have achievements to unlock.
Right.
I will not talk about this game again, no matter how much good or bad content it does, because it makes me feel gross when there's like a 3-year-old kid on the screen. And whatever.
Appreciate
you know
your
what
service.
it is, or you don't know what it is. Like, just
if you
play
don't know what
play
it is,
whatever.
please save yourself.
Just don't. Yeah, just don't even bother, because it also has actual clips from the show.
Of course it does.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah,
That's
where it's a very clearly scripted parent and child and other parent reading aloud very slowly because this is what the script says to do.
Right. Oh boy.
It makes me feel disgusting.
Yeah.
But I will get the 1,000 gamer score and be done with it. I started it, now I have to finish it. It was there.
I respect the commitment.
Easy.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was getting into until it starts with a loading screen and there's a kid sitting in front of his couch like, wait, is this a YouTuber?
You didn't think to look up a review video or anything?
No, I look up true achievements, how long to get the full 1,000 gamer score,
One
and start
difficulty.
playing. That is
all right.
That is my
That is
one
my
difficulty
order of
in
1 hour.
Yeah, I'll take it.
It's actually like 3 to 4, but whatever. I played Matchpoint Tennis Championship, which is also on Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
This is a quote unquote tennis simulation game.
Mm.
Yo, no, it's not. It's arcadey as hell, dude. Like, do you miss Virtua Tennis? Because let me tell you, if you miss Virtua Tennis and that kind of game, this might be the game for you. Because it plays like every other tennis game I've ever played, which is get to the space where the ball is going to be beforehand, hit the swing button early enough, and he charges and goes, smack! And he goes, ha! 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 It's
just like that?
Just like that. It's a tennis game. Like,
right.
It's exactly what you expect. It has tennis in it.
It's no Rockstar table tennis, though, fortunately.
How many times did you yell at the TV that ball was out of line?
Like 4 times I have said that was it. I have John McEnroe like at least 4 times. Like, no, that was it.
Does it let you rush the net?
Right.
It does, yes.
Oh, nice.
Like, you can rush the net, you can do a whole bunch of stuff. Like, it's a really solid game to the way it feels to play is really solid. Graphically, when it's zoomed out, it's fine. It looks like a tennis game, which is a sure thing, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
When it's zoomed in on the characters' faces, it's a little bit more problematic.
It's a little off.
A little bit, yeah. It's the uncanny valley of tennis. It does do a really cool thing, which, like, it has a character creator, which of course I did, because why wouldn't you?
Joe Random has taken up a new sport.
Exactly. He's not taking up a new sport. He is the master of all sports.
That's true.
Joe Random is the Michael Jordan of multiple sports. He is a baseball player. He's a tennis player. When I play FIFA next, he'll be a soccer player too.
Right. He even has the gambling controversy too. He's got
exactly.
it all.
He is the GOAT. He is being bribed to play this sport by his mafia ties, therefore he has to do well at it. He can't help it. Random is as Random does, and right now Random does tennis.
That's right.
That's all I'm saying.
JR in F1 2024.
That's right.
Exactly. JR Racing, sponsored by Rich Energy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's a perfectly fine. It's actually not perfectly fine. It's good. It feels good.
Seems solid.
Like, the character creator is fine, whatever. You have like 4 choices, but it has a full-blown career mode where
Oh, nice.
like I started the game and it's like, okay, so here is a little exhibition match against someone who whipped me from one end of the court to the other. I was like, oh, okay, sure.
All
I
right.
guess I'm just bad at the game.
That's your
But
abilities
it
scene.
does exactly. But it does this cool thing where when you're playing against someone, some tennis players obviously have things they are good at. So
Right.
as you're playing someone, you will discover what their strengths are. So like
I
Oh,
misread
okay.
on the screen. I misread how it had the stats for your characters while you were talking about it. But on the top, it says forehand, but it was scrunched up enough that I thought it was a stat for forehead. And I was trying to figure out if they
You're
were
like
the
80
character
on
creator or
forehead.
not. Yeah.
Goodness. Was this a Skyrim character?
But, like, so like I've started with 20 in all of my stats, and I'm currently in the semi-professional league. So I'm not doing the Grand Slams at the Australian Open. I'm doing the Matchpoint Tennis Championship at like, Paris or whatever. There's very little commentary, which I'm fine with because, spoiler alert, tennis doesn't have commentary in it anyway when the people tend to be playing. It feels good to play. It looks good to play. I'm really enjoying the fact that you can unlock new coaches who coach you how to do things in the game
nice.
and increase your stats. They have challenges which will let you work on your skills. In Boston, you can unlock new equipment, and the equipment gives you stat bonuses.
Oh no. So you're saying it's just Persona. You're learning your enemy's weaknesses, you're equipping items.
Time to open up the old Excel sheet.
Using a gun.
Exactly. But it does seem like there is no cap on the the training side of things, because there is an achievement for getting maxed out stats in everything.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't know, this looks cool. You said this is on Game Pass?
It is. It plays really, really well. Like, looking at the game is fine. The presentation, the menus are a little bit 50-50, but it just feels good to play. To get yourself in that position and be like, yeah, I'm going to hit this ball directly where you came from, just because you're an idiot and I'm winning this rally. Thank you very much.
So
I've already lobbed like 4 people.
Matchpoint Tennis Championship?
Yes.
Nice.
It's real solid to play. And if you want to play it with me, just let me know, because there is an achievement for winning 25 online games. That's broken.
Oh, yeah.
Just download it on your other Xbox for your kid account, and there you go.
Yeah. Perfect.
Potentially, yes. Let's see what else. The final game I played so far this week is a really good transitional game, which is why it was left to last. Because once we're finished talking about this, Nimp is going to take it away. Nimp, have you been playing Dying Light as well?
Yes, I have.
Oh.
I wonder how I knew. However did I know that?
You want to know what my one and only note is that I have for Dying Light?
Go ahead.
We all discovered that our main character's name is Kyle.
All right. Sure.
We may or may not have spent about 10 minutes just making fun of him for that name.
Yeah.
Because the story was trying to be super dramatic and super meaningful, and it's just like, I don't care if you die. I just don't.
We have all been way over the story, and it's just been fun to kind of poke holes at it. But this last bit was very much an unearned thing of, you've been trying to get into this girl's pants who doesn't like you at all, and definitely doesn't like you because somehow, none of us remember, we managed to kill her little brother. We're pretty sure he blew himself up with the explosives that he stole, but like I said, none of us can remember. So then things happen, and all of a sudden we're supposed to care about this other character. And this guy's got will not shut up about her, and it's stupid.
Yeah. It's the story in that game is so trite. Like, it's so ridiculous. The best part of the story is always like the side missions, like the wizard who's looking after kids. He was cool.
Yeah. Just the random crap that we find out there. So we did manage to get. They jumped into my game, so we completed was it like 3 stories or whatever, which then got us caught up to where you guys were at, which is in the new area, which is a pretty decent size. But not anything horrible. I was expecting it to be I was expecting it to be like, boom, here's the continent, as opposed to this little island you were on.
5 times larger. It's like, no, please.
The Far Cry 5 thing, where it's like, oh, look at this little zone that you start in, and then it's like 70 times bigger.
Yeah.
I was having real issues with controls this time around, because also, so the way the night had started was my wife and I were doing something else, and I had been drinking with her. You know, we were just hanging out and chilling. So then Moon sends me a text message saying, "Hey, are you still awake? Do you want to play?" And I responded back, like, "No, we've been drinking and we're kind of in the middle of something." And then my wife's like, "Well, you know, I'm kind of tired, so I'll just go to bed." And it's like, all right. So I texted him right back. And I'm like, "Yeah, I can play. I'm just a little drunk right now."
Well, come on in.
Yeah. So
I think 2 of the 3 of us were drunk, I believe, or getting drunk.
Right.
We were 10 minutes into the game, and I just could not jump to save my life. Literally fell off of a building. Couldn't remember how the grappling hook worked. I think it was like 2 or 3 times I went to jump on a vehicle to break my fall and just completely missed the vehicles.
Oh, swinging a miss every single time, yeah. So Boston, the girl in the video you're playing on stream, that's the one he likes.
Jade.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it's not, she has no interest in you whatsoever, even the first time you meet. Like, it's a completely one-sided thing, and the guy just needs to get over himself, and I don't understand why it's a part of the story. But either way, though. So now we're in this new area where there's a lot of buildings closer together, and they're all really tall. And
precarious deaths ahoy, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I forgot what we were doing. We killed, what was his name? Tipper?
Yeah, the second in command to Rash. Not Raj Al Ghul, unfortunately. We killed his second in command, who matters so little that we literally don't know his name.
No.
Okay.
And can't remember where we met him before in the game.
Dude, I forgot we cut the bad guy's hand off like 6 hours ago.
I did too, until our guy yelled out at him. Was like, "You want me to cut off your other one?" And we were all kind of like, "Wait, we cut off the first one?"
The what? Wild.
Yeah. Like, okay. Sure.
It's been really fun just playing it with other people, especially with the gaps that we have, the time gaps that we have in it. And we're the 3 of us are like, the 3 of us are trying to piece together what happened, and then we just kind of give up and just start making fun of the plot.
Right.
It's like hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Like, one of us could jump, one of us can shoot, and one of us could use melee weapons, but nobody else can do anything else.
Right. Yeah, but it was a lot of fun chaos. We were in the sewers, and I was shooting things, and then the next thing I knew, I had disappeared because I fell in the water while shooting things. And managed to finally crawl out of there. And then Rob was like, "Actually, we need to go in there to get out of here." So,
no.
All right, back into the drink we go. So, yeah, it's fun. I'm looking forward to see how the second one is.
Based on the achievements, I'm pretty sure we're like maybe 4 or 5 missions away from the end of the game now.
That's not bad.
Okay.
Which, that's great, to be honest. Like,
yeah.
I kind of just want it to be done. I mean, don't get me wrong, there will be a lot of times I will be playing this by myself, looking after all of the many collectibles in the game.
I haven't even looked at the achievements for that because I don't want to know, because I don't care.
Of course you haven't, because you don't care like I care.
No, that's right. And I don't want to care like you do.
That's fair.
Do you have any...
That's the right attitude.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Did you have anything else for Dying Light?
No, it's fun, it's stupid, it's ridiculous. Like, just don't think the story is any good. I'm really looking forward to how badly they botched the second story. Because that was what they pushed in the advertisements was, it's so story driven and amazing and your choices matter. I was like,
right.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, probably not.
I'll be the judge of that. Thank you very much.
Yep. All right. So, moving on from Dying Light, I played Far Cry 5. I now have all of the companions. The last 2 that I needed to get was this guy who likes heavy weapons, so he runs around with a rocket launcher all the time.
Right.
And the grizzly bear called Cheeseburger.
Okay. I love it.
Who you're not supposed to feed cheeseburgers to because of the diabetes.
Oh.
So,
I was not expecting that, but okay.
So it's still been fun. I am planning on, what was it? There was 3 regions that had 3 different kids. I already took out the southwestern region, so now I'm just going to do the north region, which is all the military cultist stuff.
Oh, sure.
Yep.
One thing that I absolutely hate about this game is when they send a hunting party out to get you, you might as well just stand wherever you're at and wait for them to show up to get you. Because
really?
no matter what you do, like this last time, I was actually in a helicopter just seeing if I could race out to like the area that I had already cleared to get away from them, and I'm like several thousand feet in the air in this helicopter flying, and then all of a sudden, like something shoots at me from somewhere, and then I just start getting like the whole bliss thing, and then I get knocked out and I'm captured.
Yep.
Bummer.
It's stupid. The capture
Literally
parts
can't resist it. It's stupid.
Yeah, the capture parts in this are not that great, especially since they always put you in like these weird, stupid situations where you have to kind of do stealth in areas that aren't really meant for stealth. It's just not great. So, other than that, though, it is still really fun sending people into camps and blowing things up, especially now that I have a fixed wing pilot and a helicopter pilot.
Mm-hmm.
So I can just switch to them and then have them, with my sniper rifle, start clicking on targets for them to attack, and they'll just fly in and do it while I'm sitting there sniping from a hill, several hundred feet away. I did get an achievement for getting headshots 150 meters away. So that's where my game's at.
I think I may have squeezed that one in a little bit by just parking a car horizontally across the road and then going up to the top of a hill and waiting for somebody to arrive.
The best thing that I've done so far is I have taken a plane into an area that I was supposed to liberate, like whatever encampment or whatever, and I would just fly the plane straight into it and then jump out of it and parachute, and my plane would just crash into whatever vehicles were on the ground, blow all those up and everyone around them, and I would just start picking people off while I was floating down, and then, hey, everything's liberated, so...
Right.
So yeah, Far Cry 5 is still just dumb fun, surprisingly. Yeah. I'm kind of curious. Usually I don't jump into the Far Cry games back to back, but I may check out 6.
Yeah.
I know...
Which one is 6? 6 is the newest one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the one with Giancarlo Esposito?
Yeah, where you're kind of in a... Is it in Colombia or just like a Colombia-like state?
Colombia-esque, I believe.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't think it's specifically in there. Ubisoft didn't want to get all political about it.
Well, they were completely fine with this one taking place in Montana. Like, they say Montana in it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they also say that this is not, based on anything in real life, and we have no political opinions on this at all.
Wink.
Yeah. Turn on the TV. You'll see.
Yeah.
So from there, my wife and I have been playing Bayonetta.
The first one?
Yes, on the Wii U.
Okay.
So it's kind of been our sit down and chill after the kids go to sleep kind of thing. My wife has completely forgotten how to play it or what the story is. I never knew what the story was because I never played it. So we're just like, screw it. We'll just, hand the controller back and forth, have a couple drinks, and just kind of have fun with it.
Yeah.
Which with her, dude? Which with her?
Yes. So my wife likes one kind of female character type, and Bayonetta and Rain from Blood Rain both fill those roles quite nicely.
All right, good.
So, and we had actually gotten talking to, because I was talking to her about the third game, which is why we started replaying this, because she's interested in the third game, but she's never, I think she's beaten the first one, but she hasn't beaten the second one.
Okay.
But it's been long enough that she doesn't remember the first game, at all, really. So I was like, all right, let's just do it all, and by that time, the third one will get out. So I was talking to her about the naive angel mode that's in the third game.
Yes.
And for those of you that don't know, this adds just a little bit more, quote unquote, clothing to some aspects of the game that are happening. And there is a nice video online that demonstrates, the on and off feature of what it looks like. And my wife and I are sitting there watching it, and I'm like, honestly, the Naked Witch isn't the issue that I have. It's the fact that she just ripped that angel in half behind her, and there's like blood going everywhere.
Right.
That's the part that I don't want my kids to see that.
Right.
So anyway, so yeah, we've made it to chapter 4. The last chapter was us running through the lava area where you're running on the walls of the buildings to get away from the lava flow.
Oh, yeah, right.
And my wife had a little too much to drink and could not handle that section, so it was passed off onto me to do it, which I managed to get through it fine. And then we had the boss fight, and that's where we left it at the end, because it took a lot out of her watching me jump all over the place sideways and upside down and stuff, and it just wasn't doing it for her right then and there.
Right.
We are also playing on, very easy.
Oh,
and I'm really liking the fact that we can just walk into an arena and just completely wreck everything in there and not worry about it.
I think that's the way to play that game, is just like, you're unstoppable. Let's just do witch stuff.
That was the thing that my wife had said was, it's like, well, all I'm going to do is button mash, which I told her that is completely fine, because for this game, for the difficulty we have it set on, hit all the buttons at once for all I care. We're not playing this on hardcore where you have to get your parries and your repos down and stuff like that. Because then we started buying like techniques and stuff. And I was just telling her, just buy all the techniques that we can afford, because then you'll just accidentally do something cool at some point.
Yeah, you do a bunch of flashy stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. So, yeah, we're just having a bunch of fun blowing stuff up. Let's see, what else do we got? Yeah, that was it for Bayonetta. My next game that I played is Destiny 2.
Ah, yes.
Which Boston jumped in with me and my son. So we were doing the Galahorn mission, because I had bought the 30th anniversary Witch Queen whatever stuff, and my son was like, "Hey, we should do this mission." Like,
hey, old man, we're getting Galahorn. Get in the dungeon.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, "All right, cool." So we did it. So Saturday afternoon.
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The good news is, once you've done that mission, then you can pre-order the Galahorn for real.
Not anymore. They opened that up. So if you can find one
for public.
For public purchase.
But you do. Good luck. We did still get the splash banner for you can pre-order. Yeah.
Nice.
So this mission sucks.
Is
Is
for anyone
largely,
that plays, they're doing the Grasp of Avarice dungeon.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is largely forgettable, except for 2 key spots that my son and I were stuck in. The first spot was the ogre fight, and it's not that we were necessarily stuck in that. It's just, for this fight, you have an immortal ogre that's in front of you that you can't do damage to, and what you have to do is kill this Forsaken that keeps showing up with a Scorch Cannon. Use that Scorch Cannon to give energy to these motors to open up some gateways so you can fight some Forsaken. They drop some stuff. You bring that stuff to a crystal. The crystal grows, and after a certain point, you can fight the ogre.
Right.
And then the ogre resets, rinse, and repeat.
Yep.
That's clearly not complicated at all.
Yeah.
It's not. It just took forever.
The boss has a lot of health, like way more than anything else in that dungeon. It's very strange.
We weren't in any danger of dying. Like, if my son and I had really just completely screwed off, we would have died.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, one of us would die, and then we could wait out like the full, minute timer?
Like 45 seconds, 40 seconds, something like that.
So it's like the other one would just kind of be faffing about while the other one's waiting for the respawn timer to come back up, and we would just respawn ourselves. So yeah, that took way too long.
Yeah.
And shouldn't be that long.
Especially, unfortunately, you guys were only in there with 2 people. It's much easier to do the damage phase with 3 people, but I understand why you didn't grab some people in there with you.
But once we get done with it, and apparently, according to my son, if you beat this quest solo, you get something extra.
You get like there's a triumph, and I think if you do it solo flawlessly, you get an emblem.
Yeah, which no.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, once you have played enough, it's not really that hard, but it's
a long
learning experience.
I'm just thinking like the time commitment.
Yeah,
for just doing that.
I soloed one dungeon, the Pit of Heresy, and the run where I did it only took an hour, but the practice took like an hour every day for like a week leading up to it. So like the run itself was fine and it went super smoothly, but the rest of the runs did not go well.
Yeah. So once we get on from the ogre, the next, I don't know, there's like some in between part, and then there's the next phase where you're supposed to be doing this kind of sparrow race.
Yep.
And at first we did not realize that we were supposed to be going somewhere, because when it starts, it drops like a ton of enemies in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So my son and I just start going through and clearing out the enemies. The next thing you know, we're all just dead.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, what just happened? So then we reset it, do it again, and then we noticed that there's like a little waypoint icon all the way out that's like counting down from 15 or something, 10 or 15, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And what we found out is that we are supposed to be racing our sparrows through this area to deactivate these mines before they blow up, or else if any one of them goes off, it completely wipes out your entire team.
Right.
Yep.
Even though they're nowhere near you. It is super stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So my son and I do this for a while.
Mm-hmm. It's a challenging encounter. Like it sounds easy because it's like, yeah, just like go from point A to point B in your sparrow, but it's the timing is so tight.
Well, and the timing for us was never an issue. What was the issue is that there's so many enemies out there shooting at you that your sparrow gets blown up, and then you're just there without a sparrow. So you're waiting for that to cycle back up, and by the time that does, you're usually already dead.
Yeah, because the sparrows still have that stupid cooldown time where it's like your sparrow blew up, it's cooling down for like 10 seconds. It's like, this is the dumbest. You should not have this in the game still.
Yeah. So we get to a point where my son and I, once we get past A, the spot in between A and B is where there's like a bunch of things shooting you at once.
Yeah.
So it kind of got to the point of one of us will kind of lag behind the other one. The first one that manages to get through, they're the sacrifice that everything is shooting at while the other one speeds through to get to B.
Right.
So by that point, one of us is dead, and we would switch back and forth. But once I cleared B, you would go to C, and then we could never make it to D. And it wasn't because of time. It's just there's a chasm there, and there's like these little, I don't know what you call them, like these
man cannons, essentially.
Yeah, the cannon catapult things. They'd never catapult either my son or me far enough to clear the chasm. No matter what we did, we would always fall short, and we could never make it to that final mine.
Right.
So we're at this for over an hour, just doing this one section. And I finally post in Discord, screw this mission, blah, blah, blah. And then Boston gets on and says, hey, you want help?
Like, I'd literally finished recording Game Club like 3 minutes before, and I'm like, oh, I'm still sitting on my computer. I can just hop in and do this. I've done this dungeon a bunch.
Yeah. So then Boston jumps on, and the first time, I don't know what happened. Everything went
sideways
like, immediately.
Yeah, it was all bad right away.
So then the second, I think we only ran it 2 or 3 times.
I think the second time was successful, if not the third time.
Yeah. Because then Boston starts telling me and my son about how, oh yeah, there's like these wave points that you collect and it increases your time.
Buttons, yeah.
Yeah. And my son and I were both kind of like, time wasn't really our issue. It was mostly just getting the last one.
Yeah, that one launcher.
Getting over that final jump. Yeah. So when Boston and my son finally got over there and got it, I had died. So when I respawned, I still had to finish legging it the rest of the way to get to the chasm to jump over.
Was weird.
Yeah. Once I get to that chasm, I go into the man cannon just like they did, and I still don't get thrown all the way across. I instantly die again.
Yep.
So then I respawn. still doesn't throw me all the way across. So then I had to respawn again, and I managed to jump off my Sparrow at the last minute, kind of hover close enough so that way I could get into the chasm.
Mhm.
I'm like, this thing is just broken and stupid.
Yeah, it was real wonky.
After that, though, final boss was easy.
The next two encounters are way easier. Like the ogre part is the hardest easily, and the Sparrow race, if it decides not to be nice to you, is difficult. But other than that, it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah. So after we did that, we said goodbye, and then my son and I got back on and played to get our Galahorns finally. We have completed all of the side quests. We both have the rocket launcher now.
Nice.
I still have yet to use it, but he's super geeked out about it.
Nice.
It's like, cool.
Get ready for the OP rocket launcher of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Is it still good, or did they?
Yeah, because
I still get hate messages anytime I use it in PvP.
Yeah, the smart thing they did with it though this time is they're trying to mitigate. The thing in Destiny 1 was like, all right, if you want to do this activity, you need to have Galahorn. It's way easier to get in this one, but also when you use Galahorn and your fire team members are using legendary rocket launchers, you give them Wolfpack rounds. So anybody can use whatever rocket launcher they want and get the ability, the benefit from Galahorn without having to use it. So it's a really smart way of making it, like, it's not as strong as the first game, but it's stronger in a different way.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad I have it again. It's been real touch and go with me in this stupid rocket launcher, because I think I have every there was the Destiny 1 version, then there was the Iron version.
Yeah, the Iron Galahorn. Yep.
Yeah, and now this version, so I have all three of them now.
Oh, nice.
When we had bought the expansion pack too, for some reason, when I went to go to Cosmodrome, just grind out some of the stuff for the Galahorn mission, for some reason it had me restart the first mission all over again, like the very, hey, this is your first time playing mission.
Yeah.
So now I have another, I think this is my fourth version of that AR-15 that you start out with now.
Yes.
So I have like a 5 damage version, which is like the very first
the Kvastov
vanilla.
Yep.
And now I have this brand new one, which is actually comparable with my current equipment because it's 1520, I think is its power level.
That's great.
It's just this dumb white weapon that isn't that great, but is it's just funny.
That's really good.
So yeah, that was it for Destiny. It's still
Destiny, for better or for worse.
And that's the thing too. Is it doesn't fully click with me. Like I can sit here, like today, I was grinding out stuff for it, and I can sit there and zone out and just shoot stuff all day. You can enjoy it, and it feels good. Yeah. But the moment you start doing a mission, it's like, oh yeah, you need to go to like these 15 other places, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But anyway, Destiny 2. It's still fun. The last game that I have that I played, and I'm guessing Boston did too, which is why it's my last game, is Stray.
I have played maybe 5 minutes of this. Largely because as soon as I fired up, my daughter was like, "Oh, look at the cat." And I was like, I need to check the ratings on this because I don't want this to be like 5 minutes in, it's just like the cat is dead. It's like, no.
Yeah, no,
it's E, by the way. There's nothing in it.
I have beaten the game, so I won't get into spoilers. I beat it in 5 hours and 58 minutes and 48 seconds.
There you go. That seems to be about the average
memory.
Time for people.
Yeah. There's not really, the only thing that might kind of be iffy for your daughter is just when you're running away from the Zerks.
Yeah, the like bug sections.
Yeah.
But
I mean, outside of that, there's not anything. Like I was even thinking about letting my daughter play it. It's just I think those she might get frustrated with because it's not all you can do as the cat. You're playing as a cat. Is just run past them. You don't have anything to fight back with.
Yeah, you just have to
you can do. Yeah. And that might be kind of frustrating for my kid. But you do eventually get like a UV light, which works against those. And then you kind of immediately lose it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you don't deal with those things anymore.
Oh, okay.
So don't get discouraged like I did, where you finally get the weapon and you start getting used to it, and then they take it away, and you're like, well, now what?
What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, it stops being an issue. So.
Right. Yeah, I'm mostly waiting until I have like a dedicated amount of time where I can sit down for like an hour or two and play it, as opposed to like, oh, I'm going to play for 10 minutes, I'm going to play for 15 minutes here. Like I want to sit down and try and play it in kind of one larger chunk.
Yeah. I'm actually really happy that with the length of the game,
Yes,
and with the content of it.
I know the length has been like the Twitter's latest controversy this week.
Yeah,
Of like, it's a 5-hour game. It's like, yeah, man, that's great. I love it.
Yeah, it's a $5, $30, or I'm sorry, it's a 5-hour, $30 game.
Yep, and I got it for free because of whatever PlayStation Plus Super Platinum Prestige level I'm at, whatever the dumb platform names are.
Your
Essential
Platinum
Plus
Stars level.
Right. It's like it's like an insurance level of like, ooh, I'm in HMO Plus. Oh, all right.
When all this discourse came back up, my immediate argument for this is always the same at this point, where it's like, number one, I don't care. Give me a shorter game, great. Even if it's a $60 game and it's a 5-hour game, I'm fine with that.
If it's good, I don't care. Like,
exactly. If you're going to do the comparison, movie tickets are like $20, and that's an hour and a half to 3 hours, depending on what movie you've seen. So go to hell, not including food and everything else. But my immediate argument for this is always, What Remains of Edith Finch is one of the games of my lifetime, and you can do that in 2 hours if you want to, probably. So
if you find everything, it's like 2.5 hours. Like,
well, and that's always been my thing too, because with games like Skyrim and Fallout and Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead, I do like for those that, okay, yes, you have this massive area that you can explore. However, we all know there's barely anything in those massive worlds. Most of your time is just you going from one spot to another. That's not fun.
Yep.
So this game pretty much cut that out, where you've got this hub that you're exploring. There's a lot of verticality to it. There's a lot of dumb stuff that it takes a moment for your brain to wrap around. Like, hey, since you're playing as this tiny feline and not a human-sized character, you see this barred door that's closed, and you're like, well, how am I supposed to get through there? Duh, you're a cat. Walk between the bars.
Right.
So it's just things like that where you kind of have to rewire your brain for a second. I will also say too, if you get to an area where you're doing like a lot of jumping, or if you just want to quickly scale up something, hold down the X button.
Oh, it'll do like boop, boop, boop?
Yeah, it does the Assassin's Creed thing of it'll just continue with the running or jumping or whatever that you're trying to do. Or you can just individually keep hitting X if that floats your fancy. But
sure.
So yeah, I'm really liking this cat game.
Yeah.
I might actually go back and check out whatever. I know that there's like all these weird collectibles that you can get. There's apparently a trophy for beating it in under 2 hours or something.
Sure.
Yeah, I've got to do. Can I run it and see if I can run it on my machine? My machine's old at this point. That's the scary part.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want my opinion of this game to be tainted by a bad machine.
Yeah. Did it come out on PS4 as well?
No.
Oh, just PS5 and PC?
No, PS4, PS5, and PC. Yep.
Okay.
Because I had the option to download the PS4 version as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, my wife just text messaged me and she said, and you forgot to mention Aya. When I mentioned earlier that she has a specific stereotype of woman, apparently it's Aya Bree, Rain, and Bayonetta. Anyway.
Who is Aya Bree?
From Parasite Eve.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Jack from Mass Effect by any chance in this list as well?
No. She's not aware. I couldn't get her to play Mass Effect. But anyway, I digress. So Stray is a really fun, short, 6-hour game.
Yeah.
Go with God on what you want to do with that. But I really enjoyed it. So, yeah, that's all I've been playing this week.
I was perusing the new releases on PS5. I do this every once in a while. Where I'm like, what's in the new releases here? Like, what are we looking at for brand new stuff? And I found a game I loved probably about 10 years ago called Long Live the Queen. It is People will
is that
probably
that-
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, people will probably remember I talked about it a lot on this show a long time ago. And it's essentially like you're raising, it's not really like a visual novel, it's more like a simulator. But you're raising this young girl who's supposed to become the queen, and you're trying to prevent her from dying in horrible ways. Because especially early on in the game, it's really easy to be like, I'm going on a hunting expedition. I got shot by assassins. Oh no!
It's that
Start the game back
pink-haired
over.
anime-looking,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
I've had this on my wish list forever. Just haven't done anything with it.
I loved it a lot when I played it on PC 8, 9, 10 years ago, maybe. So as soon as I saw it come out on PS5, I picked it up. I think it's like $10. It's less than $15. It's
Yeah, it's
really cheap.
$9.99 on Steam right now, normal.
Yeah,
So
it's well worth it, and it's this really cool game where you go through and like you're a little lost in your first playthrough, to be honest, because like I'm showing it here on the live stream. There's like 15 different options for things she can take classes on in the morning and the evening, and then each one of those options has 3 options under it. So there's like 45 or 50 options you can go through, and it's one of those things where you run into things really early on where you're like, oh, okay, the first big event I have to do is this. Like, there's someone coming from another kingdom that wants to start like a trade deal with me or something like that. And you fail it because you're missing X, Y, and Z. And you're like, okay, well, next playthrough, I got to focus on these things first. That way I can pass this and I can do the next thing. And they're like, oh, well, if I was better at first aid, then the next thing where someone gets injured, I could help them and maybe do this. And you kind of figure out how you want the paths to branch. So each playthrough you get a little bit faster. And for anyone that's like, oh, I gotta play this game multiple times, the setting is on by default where it just skips dialogue you've already seen. So like when you start the game the second time, it skips the whole intro, it skips all the tutorials, it skips everything, and it's like, here's day 1, let's go. So it's really cool about multiple playthroughs. And it works pretty well on PS5. The one menu that's a little weird is when you're picking your classes, because it gets a little bit confused. It's very much a mouse-driven game, but so far it's really good. I played a lot of this game when it came out on PC back in the day, and I'm pretty happy it works well here, and it seems like the game is pretty well intact. So long live the Queen. Still really good. Still highly recommended. It's a very cool thing. I checked out the mobile version of Into the Breach. Just a reminder here that this is a Netflix game. So that's how you get it and play it. They have made some changes to the interface for the mobile version that I really appreciate. So when you go to like move your unit, or you have so moving your unit, you can either like drag the unit or you can tap and tap, which I kind of like. One change they made that I really like is when you're aiming your weapon, there's a disarm button. So you can aim it and kind of choose which direction you're going to fire, or you can just say, all right, I'm going to redo this move. And anytime you go to make a decision, it's really clear about you have to choose yes or no that you're going to do this. Like ending your turn, you have to pick yes or no. Starting the battle, yes or no. And I like that it's very mindful about you're going to be on a phone and you might be hitting stuff by accident. And I appreciate that it's kind of working its way around that stuff. And I haven't played too much of it. It's still Into the Breach. It looks really good on a phone, because I have an iPhone 11, I think. And I don't have like one of the big supersized ones, so it looks pretty nice all smushed down like that. And I haven't played with any of the new stuff. So when you start a new game and you go through the tutorial, it starts you with all of that stuff turned off by default. So like the new enemy units, the new mechs and pilots, all of that stuff is off by default. So far it seems pretty good. No complaints here. I will probably keep it on my phone and play it every once in a while, but I'm still worried about getting too deep into that game because there's a lot in there and it's really good.
Did you?
Yeah.
What was your? Because I've been seeing a lot of crap online, and I can't tell if it's just people being prissy or whatnot. How did you get access to the game on your phone?
So there's two ways you can do it. You can either search for it in the Netflix app, or I found it in the iTunes apps or the Apple App Store. And I just the App Store version is very much like, yeah, you can get this, and the first line is like, you need to be a Netflix subscriber to play this. And then like as soon as you fire it up, the first thing it gives you is like log into your Netflix account. So it.
I was like, because there's just been a lot of stuff online of people complaining about it, and I was like, from my understanding, it was just look for it and you just log into your Netflix account.
I think the thing that
guess what, I just did it right now too.
Yeah, I think the thing that people might be running into that it has been a little bit confusing is I don't think in the Netflix app on my phone there isn't like a dedicated game section. You know how you have those icons at the bottom where it's like movies and your wish list and accounts. There's no game option there, and I think that's what people are really looking for.
Mine does.
Oh, yours does? Okay.
Yeah, I got home, games, new and hot, fast laughs, and downloads.
I bet they're doing A/B testing with a lot of that stuff, but I wish they were surfacing that stuff a lot more because there's a lot of cool games on there. There's Moonlighter on there. There's a mobile version of Moonlighter that you can play on Netflix. There's Point P, which I really like, the Downwell guys' new game. And there's a bunch of really good stuff on there that you can get for your subscription. You can just download it for free. So I hopefully they make that discovery a little bit easier in the future. But I was able to go into the App Store on my phone and just look for Netflix Incorporated, and it showed me all of their games under there. And that
that's what that's doing for me right now too. When I click on the games tab, they've got a bunch of crap in here apparently.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in there. Like there's some good stuff. So Into the Breach seems like it has come over intact and kind of I think it's mindful of the platform it's on. The only thing I missed from the Switch version is on the Switch version when you start a run and the three mechs kind of fall through the floor of the ship, there's no vibration there. I like the little like burp, 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 like vibration when the mechs fell through the floor, but it's not the most minor thing. The thing I did play the most this week is I was not feeling well. Dicey Dungeons on my phone.
I was gonna say it's got to be the DD.
Oh man, I forgot how challenging most of these episodes are. Oh goodness. I still cannot beat the game as the thief yet. I'm just have one cursed run after another. So I've been kind of playing around with some of the episodes and for the other people. Right now I'm in the middle of the robots episode where every time you roll dice that match, they both disappear. So you have to you're encouraged to like roll one and just use it, and then roll another one and use that, so you're not kind of building up a stable of stuff. I also did try a run. I got really far into a run with the warrior where you start with a bunch of upgraded equipment, and every piece of equipment you find is already upgraded, but you start the battle with one level, or you start each round with one level of curse. And curse has a 50% chance when you slot a die into an equipment to just remove the piece of equipment from the board for that turn. So it's a lot of like, I rolled a bunch of sixes. Which one do I put in knowing that it might lose? Nope. All right, I just missed out on a bunch of damage. So I don't know. Dicey Dungeons is still really great, and I like it a lot because it runs super well on the phone. I like using the touch controls. It makes that game feel really great. to just like fling these dice all over the place. I found the option to see the other episodes. So there's Dicey Dungeons, the Halloween update, and then Reunion. And I started Reunion, and it goes through like a cutscene that has it's like a reality show reunion setup, which is really good. And then it dumps you into the game, and it dumped me in as the thief first. And there was some like weird modifier on the run that I didn't understand. I was like, all right, I don't think I'm ready for this reunion business right now. I need to stick to the regular game for right now. So again, Dicey Dungeons is $5. It's a really great game. It is super, super great. And I really, if anyone likes roguelikes or dice games, or you're kind of looking for something that isn't super, it's like mechanically heavy, but you don't have to you're not like doing trigonometry or anything. It is really very good. And last game I played here this week is Forza Horizon 5. The Hot Wheels DLC came out this week.
How is it?
So I have a story. I fired up my Xbox. I don't play my Xbox anymore for a number of reasons I won't get to in the show because they're all not that interesting. But I got in on my Xbox, and again, it had not downloaded any patches for any of my games. So I queued up the patch for the Forza Horizon 5, which was like 20-something gigs. And I told my daughter, I was like, all right, the racing game that we play together all the time, it's got some new stuff, some new cool stuff. And I finally got her convinced that we should check it out. We fire up the game, we go through the cutscene where they show all the Hot Wheels and everything, and then it says, hey, by the way, you own the season pass, you got to install this DLC. I was like, I swear. Okay, that's on me. I didn't check. That's my fault. How big is it? Oh, it's 15 gigs. Okay, we will go play Astrobot's Playroom for a while. But it features probably the craziest intro mission in a Forza game that I have ever seen, which is pretty wild. And I think I reached the highest speed I have reached in a car in Forza, which is 450 miles per hour.
Yeah, people keep telling me like the showcase event that DLC starts with is a banger in the showcase event.
It's really good. It's really like, and it's really interesting because it's really a tutorial, and they do this stuff so well in the Forza games of just like, all right, here's how the tracks are different, and then look, we can go through a loop-to-loop, and then here are the ice tracks, which are really slippery, and here are the magnet tracks, so we're gonna like go in like the sonic spirals a whole bunch, and like, oh, we're gonna go upside down, and there's a plane upside down, and you're upside down. Whoa, it's cool. And they show you like a round of the island because there's a bunch of different, I think nowadays you would call them biomes, but I'm really not crazy about that word in games. But there's a bunch of different areas where like, here's the ice lava area, and here's the jungle area, and here's the mountain area. And then it kind of turns you loose, and it's like, here's this kind of smallish area that they're turning you loose in, and they get you your first car, and it's like, all right, it's like 5 events. It's like 3 races and 2 like speed triumph, like 1 speed zones. And it's like, just go do those. Once you complete all of those successfully, you get the next area. The thing that I like the most out of all of this stuff so far is that I didn't play a ton of this in Forza Horizon 3, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this version has way more off-the-track stuff than Forza Horizon 3 did. Because this has a lot of, you're on the orange track a lot, but there's also a bunch of parts where you can drive off of the track and you're just on the ground like you would normally be in Forza Horizon. And I don't remember that being the case in 3. I thought it was all on track.
I don't think it was.
remember.
Yeah.
Because I know eventually you can take those cars out into the actual racing area anyway. So you would have like, the massive skull thing next to, a Ferrari or something.
Mm-hmm.
So my memory's kind of blurred on that.
And that's one of the interesting things about this game, this DLC too, is at the beginning, they give you kind of your starter car. And of course, the first thing you do is like, well, I'm just going to switch to my normal car because I've been racing with that for however many hours. And you can't yet until you complete much more of the DLC, which is kind of, and also until you do that, you can't take those cars back out into the regular, the kind of Mexico area, which I think is kind of nice. But yeah, so far it seems really good. I like the idea of going off of the track and kind of getting to use these cars in the world, because very early on they're like, oh, you need to smash an XP board, you need to smash one of these collectibles, and the XP board is kind of off the path and like through an area and under the path you were just on, which is kind of a fun little change. This trailer we're watching too also has the
like map editor.
Yeah, map editor, which I didn't know was in there, which is kind of interesting.
That looks really awesome.
So I don't know if, also don't know if that is Forza or if that is that Hot Wheels game that just came out. And that might be that Hot Wheels game that just came out, which is also very good. I recommend that a lot too. But so far it seems really good. I have no idea how much it costs because I bought the Turbo Deluxe edition of Forza Horizon 5 because I knew I'd buy the DLC anyway. So I'm not sure how much this costs, but so far seems really good. The only complaint I have is they have a essentially a meter in the middle of the screen of at what angle your car is relative to the horizon, and
that's just because you don't play enough flight games.
Right, but the only problem I have with that is there's sometimes that is right over the speed line, like in infrequent cases. So that can be a little bit weird, but it is kind of fun being upside down and being like 200 miles an hour, which is really great. But yeah, I haven't played this too much because my kid wants to play The Sims 4 with me, which is not a problem. Yeah,
it is normally $19, but according to Microsoft's website, it is currently on sale for $17.99.
That seems like a pretty good deal for the amount of stuff you get there. There seems to be a lot of cars. There seems to be that area is the track in the sky is actually a pretty big area. So seems good so far. I'm hoping to put some time into it this week. But that's all I've been playing. Let's take a break.
Sounds good.
Wish we had a lot of games this week.
I know we had a drought for like the last couple, and then all of a sudden we're like, yeah, play games.
Yeah, I was making my list, and I was like, 5 games. Right. Okay. Let's see if there's any last minute news stories. I really don't think there is. Not a lot super interesting happened this week. Apex Legends. Marvel Midnight Suns.
Yeah, this is super easy. I don't know what people. So I downloaded Into the Breach on my phone through the net. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it shows up in my game studio thing on my phone. I click on it and just pulls up Netflix and it's like sign in real quick with your. Yeah, just like I have a pen on my account.
Yeah, like on iOS, it just downloaded as a separate app, and I just click it and it fires up. Like there's nothing. Yeah. People are acting like it's like, oh, I have to go through this eldritch ritual to get it. And it's like, no, it's just an app. Like, search for Into the Breach. Thank you, Favor. But yeah, and like once I logged into my Netflix account, it's like, all right, enjoy the game, go nuts. Like it doesn't
go.
Yeah, doesn't seem really crazy, but I don't know. Any level of hurdle is apparently too much for some. So
I was like, because at this point, it's every mobile thing that I've played, most of them want you to log into an account anyway. And you can play as a guest on most of them.
Sure.
But still, it's like they want you to create. It's just like anything else. It's like they want you to create an account.
Well, and the nice thing on iOS is, I'm sure it's like this on Google, is a bunch of them will allow you to sign into your iOS Game Center account. So it's like, I'm not giving them my email address or whatever. Like, just use my Game Center account. and that's nice as like another option.
Yeah, because it did ask me. It's like, oh, what email do you want to associate this with? And I was like, none. Thank you.
I'm okay. Thank you for asking, though. Yeah. All right. Are you guys ready for the next segment here?
Yep.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of July 25th, 2022, that I forgot to write down here in the show notes. Haha. Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town comes out on the PS4. I didn't see this coming out to anything else, so I'm fairly sure it's been out on PC for a while, so I'm not sure. Oh,
Yeah.
Story of Seasons is so confusing in general. I don't think they know what to do with that franchise in general, and it's kind of a bummer. Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent Champions of the Continent comes out on iOS and Android. Reminder, this is a gacha game, so don't let any sort of advertisement fool you on this one. It is an Octopath Traveler game where you get to play. People are estimating the story of this is probably about 30 hours, and they've made a couple of changes from the kind of the base game. There's 2 more weapon types, and now you can have 8 people in your party during a fight. But other than that, it's kind of the standard Octopath thing. So I will probably download it and try it out, and we'll see how it is. Bear and Breakfast comes out on PC. I think we saw this most recently at the Day of the Devs during the Summer Games Fest.
Yep.
This
It was
is
also on Wholesome Direct.
Shush.
Get ready, Commander. Go into the breach. This is if you're a bear that runs a bed and breakfast. This is that game. It looks really good. I'm curious to try this at some point.
Mike is super excited to play this.
Yeah. Lost Epic comes out on PS4, PS5, and PC. This is a 2D Metroidvania Souls-like.
Oh no.
You might not have seen this, but it looks pretty interesting. It looks very combat heavy, and the combat looks kind of difficult. So it looks interesting. It has kind of a neat art style. I don't know if I'll ever get the time to play this, but it looks like it's something that's kind of up my alley. Digimon Survive comes out on PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. This is I have not thought about Digimon games for a while, but this is a hybrid visual novel and grid-based tactics game. So if you wanted something pretty different from a Digimon game, Survive appears to be what you're looking for.
I was going to say Cyber Sleuth was pretty good.
I did hear Cyber Sleuth was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, my son actually stole my copy and started playing that. So.
Tale as old as time, huh?
Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 comes out on the Switch. So I feel like you probably know what game that is. If not, Nimp will be talking about it next week.
Hopefully.
Yep.
Yeah. And lastly, shockingly, RimWorld Console Edition comes out on PS4 and Xbox One. If you haven't seen this is a hugely popular PC sci-fi colony simulator. It has been kind of compared maybe directly to a more friendly Dwarf Fortress, kind of that same level of game, where you're kind of doing a generated run and trying to make your colony survive. This is a game I never thought would be coming to console in any form or fashion. So watching this trailer, it looks like it's a pretty good version. So I'm curious. If you like something like Prison Architect, like that sort of stuff.
Yes. That was the thing I was thinking of.
Yeah, RimWorld is kind of up your alley without being kind of weirdly gross like Prison Architect is.
Also, like, I'm not gonna lie, every time the phrase RimWorld gets mentioned, I always think of Discworld, and I was like, wait, is this a Terry Pratchett game?
Wait, it's a Discworld game? They're doing those again? Yeah, if only. Let's move on to our news story of this week. The Minecraft team bans NFTs and blockchain tech in Minecraft. Number one, yay, thank you. They said going forward, they'll be banning anything related to blockchain or NFTs in Minecraft. And I have 2 quotes here they released a very long statement that laid out exactly why they're doing this and kind of the reasoning and how they feel about it. I have 2 quotes here that I think are really interesting for why the Minecraft team is kind of trying to protect Minecraft in this way. First one says, in our Minecraft usage guidelines, we outline how a server owner can charge for access and that all players should have access to the same functionality. We have these rules to ensure that Minecraft remains a community where everyone has access to the same content. NFTs, however, can create models of scarcity and exclusion that conflict with our guidelines and the spirit of Minecraft, end quote, which is a really good quote about NFTs in general. And also, as someone who doesn't play Minecraft, I think it's really interesting that they say, like, yeah, man, like, you can charge people to come into your server, but everybody has to get the same level of access. Everyone has to be able to play the same stuff on the server, which seems like a pretty fair compromise there. They said, the other part here is, quote, to ensure that Minecraft players have a safe and inclusive experience, blockchain technologies are not permitted to be integrated inside our client and server applications, nor may Minecraft in-game content, such as worlds, skins, persona items, or other mods, be utilized by blockchain technology to create a scarce digital asset, end quote. And this seems directly leveraged against... I don't remember what the name of the group is, and I'm not going to give them any level of publicity, but they were essentially making NFT items in Minecraft. So you're essentially buying, like, here is this one item, and you own it in Minecraft, and there's only one of them, which very much seems like it goes against the very spirit of the entire game, but okay. And of course, that group is now saying, like, oh, Microsoft and Mojang want to do this, so we're just going to go make our own Minecraft. It's like, okay, good luck with that.
Okay, go for it.
Good luck, buddy. I'm excited to see that in Never when it comes out. Good job.
Yeah. Craft Mine coming out in 2024.
That's right. That's right. But I especially since Minecraft is still a game that is so appealing to kids, and I'm not sure if it's marketed towards kids. I don't think my kid is the right age for Minecraft marketing. I really appreciate that they are taking a stance against what are baseless scams in NFTs and any level of blockchain tech being in Minecraft. Because I don't... It would be like if people were putting loot boxes, like 4Pay loot boxes in Minecraft. It's like, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, that's not...
Well, then it just turns into Roblox.
Right, which is like, I had a chat with my wife the other day, because she's like, boy, a lot of kids playing Roblox. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. My kid's not playing Roblox ever, because it is exploitative from top to bottom. Like, it's real bad.
My daughter just started playing it a couple months ago, and we don't let her buy anything.
Yeah, and that's a really good idea.
She's had fun exploring what's made in there, but yeah, you see that paywall rather quickly in that game.
Yeah. The Minecraft team does mention that they're keeping an eye on blockchain tech as a whole, and that if it turns out to be more than a scam, which is my words, not theirs, they will look at it again, which is probably fair. I think there are a lot of problems. I've always said that there are a lot of problems with how blockchain tech is used right now, especially like destroying the planet for ape JPEGs. But it is a really interesting technology to verify ownership if you can make it not burn down rainforests at like an accelerated rate. And you don't use it for like digital scarcity or anything.
Well, I was gonna say, I think the bigger problem behind that is that they did make it so that way you had to have that computing power to mine.
Right.
The security aspect of it is fine. You don't need to have 85 of these CPUs hooked up for the security aspect. You just needed it for the mining aspect.
Yeah, proof of work has always been a problem. Proof at stake is a little bit better, but I don't think it's at the point where I would say like that's a good technology. But I blockchain is a really interesting thing, and I think it can be used for good, but it's pretty gross and disappointing, but not unexpected, that it's used for scams nearly immediately. So good job, guys. Thanks, humanity. Really love it.
Yep.
But I do appreciate, again, I really do appreciate the Minecraft team of saying, like, look, this sort of digital scarcity and these scams certainly do not belong in Minecraft, whether it's NFTs or not. Like, I'm sure if someone was charging for Minecraft servers and you go in there and there's no functionality, like you can't do anything, I'm sure they would raise an issue with that too. So like it's nice to know that they're continuing to protect the community, which is really nice.
They're keeping standards.
Yeah, it's crazy when you keep standards in a community that your community turns out pretty nice. Weird. Who would have thought? All right, that's our episode for this week. I mean, there's no other real news stories. Everything in the video game industry is people complaining about how short or all the games are too long or all the games are too short, and I'm tired of it. I don't want to hear it anymore. You can visit us at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Speaking of great communities, you can join ours at our Discord server, discord.tvgp.tv.
Talking about keeping standards.
That's right. Make sure you read the rules when you come in, because you will be held to those. And don't forget to join our Patreon page over at patreon.com/E1M1.
Those ones are numbers.
The $5 a month tier is the recommended one. That gets you everything we talked about at the top of the show. And don't forget that that's the best way to support us financially. Also, we haven't talked about it in a while. Get us up to the $250 a month goal. Then we can get Tell Your Rich Friends. Then I can play spooky, scary stuff. I've always wanted to play Until Dawn and The Quarry. Your money can get us there.
And we can expand that too. Like, let's not just limit Boston to playing scary stuff. Like,
sure,
give me a JRPG to play. Give Nymph a first person. No, that doesn't work. A sports game to play.
There you go.
Or a sports game, yeah.
Yeah, or a roguelike, yeah.
And I will
roguelike sports game. Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Oh god, dude! No, why did you say that? Now they're gonna.
By the way, that's just
we're gonna have to. Play
no, that's just Blood Bowl. That's already out.
And Descenders, by the way.
And Descenders, that's right.
See, and you enjoyed Descenders.
Yeah,
I love Descenders.
Yeah, see.
But I will also more than happily jump in and do co-op scary games with Boston, or
that's true.
I will sit there and be on camera laughing at him when he jumps. I've got no problem sitting there having a 2-camera setup and me just watching him play.
That's right. And if you can't support us financially, totally understand. Best way to support the show is tell your friends, share on social media, all that sort of stuff. Hold your squishamal like Moon is. This episode brought to you by. And all of that stuff really, really does help. So I understand times are tight financially. If you can't support us, please go tell your friends to listen to the show or watch YouTube channel or stuff like that. That stuff all really helps a lot. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
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 I actually have titles this week.
Oh, I got like a list.
All right, why don't you start us off, Nib?
I have. It's all ones and zeros, boss. Mercury Gatorade. The Olympics are in retrograde. Oh no, Kamari doesn't have Lancet. The dying we, not the royal we. I got a new mustache for Keith. I showed those kids.
What?
And JR Racing, sponsored by Rich Energy.
Oh, God. Our Moon, what do you have?
The Olympics are in retrograde. New moon is old moon rising. Not me, in this case. I don't know why I have 2 of these this week, but his name is David. Thank you. The royal we. New mustache for Keith. I went with the other kids quote, which is that these kids are nothing, with an apostrophe instead of a G.
God.
Random is as random does. His name is Kyle, which again, his name is. An insurance level dash HMO plus, or just HMO plus, tainted by a bad machine, and craft mine in 2024.
Insurance level HMO plus. All right, I have it's all ones and zeros in here. Kamari doesn't have Lancet. I got a new mustache for Keith. Random does tennis. Mercury Gatorade. The Olympics are in retrograde. His name is Kyle, and insurance level HMO plus. I feel like for me,
There's a lot of good here.
There's a lot of really good ones. I like Kamari doesn't have Lancet. I got a new mustache for Keith, and maybe my front runner is the Olympics are in retrograde.
Honestly, that broke you, and I'm kind of fine with that being the title.
The Olympics one?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it broke.
Olympics followed by
worst
Kamari.
thing is,
Yeah.
yeah, because like the hilarious thing is like we all got broke by a title this week. At some point, someone said something that broke the other two.
That's true. I feel like it's got to be the Olympics are in retrograde.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
It's too good, and it's such a good non sequitur title. It's such a good TVGP title. All right, I'm going to circle it. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready, I guess.
Sorry, I was just Discord, Optimus Servo. They sell the Zoa at variety packs at Costco.
I saw that.
Welcome
too.
to the brand. Hit us up, Mr. Johnson.
Dwayne. He prefers Dwayne.
No, sorry. Hit us up, Dwayne.
All right, I am ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 770 for July 25th, 2022. The Olympics are in retrograde.
Do we have 2 years or 3 years to wait now with the delay and all?
Well, actually, Moon, the third retrograde starts this September 9th.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining us. And I hope we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Oh.